What's up? What's up? What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. Can you believe it's April 1st?
April 1st, man. The year is flying by.
The year is definitely flying by,
Look,
man.
and, and it ain't no joke. This ain't April Fools. It ain't no joke.
No, Corinthian, it's some real live stuff that's happening in this world today, man. Hey, how's everything going? What's the weather like there in Kansas and everything?
Man, it's been beautiful the last couple of days. It was around 70 today. The sun was out shining bright, so you know things have been going well. It was a great day today.
Good, good. Well, today it was rainy with a chance of thunderstorm, cloudy with a chance of thunderstorm.
Look, I was just about to say cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Had you heard that I think it was a Pixar movie or something like that for the
Oh yeah,
kids that
yeah, I
had that
do
kind of
remember that.
title. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we gonna let some people come on in before we get started, but it's next week for me will be spring break.
okay.
And so I'm happy about that. Me and Kia, we did go on a vacation early on in March,
Hmm.
but that was a trip that we had planned pretty much in, I guess, July, August with our friends, with our college friends from Old Dominion. And we had that trip in the
Man,
works. So, um,
man, you had a trip with the college folk. What? That's close to 20 years later.
Corinthian, 20 over 15 years.
Wow,
Yeah, 15 years. We went on spring break trips, and we just families now and marriages and
wow,
everything. So it's pretty cool.
wow. That's awesome though. That's awesome. And where did y'all go again? Tell the people
We
where y'all
we
went.
we went to Wintergreen Resort in Virginia, uh, a little past Charlottesville, and I had been before, but I don't remember it. But we stayed in a house, in a really huge house. It was 10 of us.
Okay.
We stayed in this pretty much huge house. Everybody had their own rooms, and we had a good time, man. We went tubing. I didn't go skiing.
Okay.
Um, we did go to a winery, and we toured it, and we just had a good time, man. A lot of time we just spent it. Everybody got their COVID test before we went, and everybody
Wow.
turned out negative, so we were good.
Yeah, one of those safety first kind of things.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
that's that's great. That's great. I'm glad that you all got to go and fellowship with each other, but you reminding everyone the importance of, you know, taking a break, scheduling some time for yourself. Sometimes it's good to get away and unwind. So I'm glad you guys had a chance to do that.
I appreciate that. Matter of fact, speaking of the COVID test, we had to me, Kia, and the boys just got COVID tested again yesterday. Went to CVS pharmacy
Okay.
because over my spring break, we will be we got deemed for a little photo shoot commercial. So we'll
Oh
be out
wow.
there, out there, doing that. So
Y'all gonna be on the TV again. Look, I didn't see the couple commercials from y'all. Y'all be
nah, Corinthian, man. When I think about, I give God all the glory for real,
yes,
honestly,
sir.
because
Yes, sir.
I didn't think I honestly we didn't think anything like this could happen. As far as like kicking with the Kellys, me posting some videos of me, fixing some yogurt for the boys, just gave me gave me so many ideas and I'm telling you, everything, things work together for the good of those who call according to His purpose. But I get to thinking sometimes, man, if I was living right, what could happen then? I gotta get my life together, man.
Man, you said if you were sanctified,
If
look,
I
you
was
said you if
sanctified
you
and
look
baptized,
and
I was
filled.
set apart, man. I
You said a chosen priesthood.
yeah,
Look,
yeah,
like
royal
a,
priesthood. But
uh,
I'm just striving, man, and for anybody that's out there, and that's a believer, just keep striving. But I think you do have to come to a place where you realize that it's just some things you can't do no more, and some places you can't go no more. Some things you say you can't say anymore. So
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I realized.
Yeah, man. Well, you and me both striving, man. That's the goal.
That's the
That's the
goal.
goal. That's the goal. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This is another episode of Kicking It with the Kellys. I believe this is our 18th episode, Corinthian.
Wow.
And
Wow.
from there, we have we are now on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I mean, we stream on YouTube, and obviously we have our Facebook Live. And thank you for those who are supporting us and come kick it with us each week on Thursdays at 8:00 p.m. or 8:05, whatever time we start. It's our show. We start whenever we want. Thank you for all those who have been really kicking it with us. I appreciate y'all, and we're just gonna keep trying to promote and dish out some content that you would want to watch and that you want to engage in and everything like that. So I appreciate y'all. Hold on, I see something going on in the chat here. Let me see what's going on, Corinthian. Let's see what's going on. Oh my goodness.
Hey guys.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we got a treat today.
What? Oh my
I'm not
goodness.
worthy. I am not
Look, don't do
worthy.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that, superstar. Look, I need to get out the way.
That's y'all. That's y'all.
Wow. Hey, honey, how you doing?
Hey, honey.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Corinthian.
How you doing? Sister in love. Sister in
I'm
love.
great. I'm great. Thank y'all for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, I feel like I'm too far away or something.
Okay, well, fix yourself. You got time,
Hey, Arthur,
Okay.
how she get the super lighted? Look, you see how everything just radiant and
Yeah,
stuff?
it looks
Just
like she's
bright.
glowing. Does she
It's
have on
real.
Vaseline? What is
Look,
going
it's
on?
real bright. And you said it's natural. That's
It's
the natural
natural.
glow.
And the
Yeah,
ring light. And the ring light.
And
I gotta step my stuff up. I
oh
gotta step my
man.
game up.
Some
Hey.
things just come natural. And if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I'm no shade. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
You know
okay.
what? No, that's real. Some people are born with it, easy breezy, beautiful cover
Cover
girl.
girl. Nah, thank y'all though. Thank y'all.
No problem. What's up, Miss Unapologetic? Hey, Kia. So, well, welcome to Kicking It with the Kellys.
Thank
You have been a faithful follower, but you made it to the room.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
see,
Oh,
see,
no,
Uh-oh.
look, see, all right, we spot. Look,
Don't worry. Well, thank you for coming.
ring
Everybody
light.
have a good night.
Thank you, ring light.
Last call.
I don't know what happened.
Look, that's like that episode. Have you seen the episode of Martin when he go on the Barnell Hill show? It was like, Martin, tell me a little bit about yourself. And Martin about to start talking, be like, thank you so much.
He didn't have a chance. Didn't have a chance.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
what happened with that.
Correct. That probably was the best, one of the best episodes of Martin.
Oh, it's in the top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
We gotta say the boxing with
with Tommy Hearns.
Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
What my favorite? What?
See.
Every time I say something, it goes
Well, see,
wrong.
this is why it's a 2-man show.
See
Oh my
goodness. We tried to get you a
just go in the room with your husband. Look, go in there, sit next to him.
I will not. Okay, I don't know what happened, but my favorite Martin episode is the one where I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Well,
It's
you
okay.
you know what? You go out and come back, come on back.
Actually, that's what we'll do.
We'll
We
still
can do
be
the intro over. Look, we can edit this stuff
yeah, we
out,
can get
even though
another
it's live.
charger. I think
Even though it's live.
maybe the charger you're using is I don't know, but
I don't know. Yeah, give me a chance to get myself together. But real quick though, my favorite Martin episode is the one where somebody stole his shirt. It's the New Jack City one. He had them all sitting around the table with
Okay,
that
yes,
stuffed dog.
sit your $5.
Yeah, yes, cold.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep.
Yeah, but just come
back
back
in.
on in
Yeah.
another
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. See, it's because we 18 shows in.
Yeah. See,
And when it's your first big thing, it's things that you gotta
things you gotta learn.
You learn the
grow
stuff
and
over the way.
Matriculate.
Exactly. And that's life. That's what we be trying to teach in our show. It's things where you grow and develop
we
over
have
time.
taught about changing your perspective and just being ready.
Yeah.
You might have to take a detour.
No, I look at this point. You cut the big light on. Look, cut your overhead light on.
She was already shining like
you was shy. Look, you was bright already. We saw you. Okay, stay seen now.
Oh, Corinthian. Listen, we were talking about Martin, man. I'm thinking about some more shows. Another favorite of mine is when they were fighting the big possum.
Oh yeah. That ain't no dog. That ain't no dog. Where Pam and Martin was working together.
Yeah, man, Corinthian, man. That was just honey, you can she walking all up and through the set.
It's okay. Hey, look, you look right here. Hey, I see you. I see you.
Oh yeah, it might be. Correct. So all right, so look, we got a show for the people today, and we're gonna give Kia another chance to tap you on in.
Absolutely.
But we there's some current events that's going on right now that I think we need to address and talk about. So we would love to see comments, share this episode because it's something going on right now. The trial of the police officer, DC, that's going on, the George Floyd murder, and I have to be specific when I say that because to my eyes that's what I witnessed and that's what I watched, and by watching some of this trial, I am convinced now that my eyes were not playing tricks on me. But everybody gets their day in court. Everyone gets their due diligence, and I'm praying that justice will prevail. I don't want to sound biased, but honestly, it's really nothing you can be biased about if you see it with your own eyes. If you see it play out on video, on film, you see it, hear the audio. So let's talk about it because there's a lot of things going on in this trial that are very gut wrenching. I had to stop watching at one point, Corinthian, and I'm being serious. I teared up, and it was the police officer's footage, I believe, of Officer Chow, and they had all 4 body cams. But you know something, Mr. Siobhan, is it what's his name? How to pronounce his name?
Derek Chauvin.
Mr. Chauvin, they didn't have his full footage, especially when he was on George Floyd. So I always find that very interesting and intriguing when the cop that is really doing the most, something always seemed to be wrong with the body cam. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Arthur, I share your same sentiment. How you doing? How you doing, Miss Akia?
I'm here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having
Yes.
me.
Thank you so much for
And I'll
joining
humble you
us.
real quick, Mona. You know, she got the strength and she got on here.
You look ready to go.
Ready.
Y'all hyped me up.
No, we're so happy. We're so happy
Thank
you're
you.
joining us this
Thank you.
evening
Yeah.
for this discussion and
Yeah.
stuff.
Ooh.
But
But before you go, Corinthian, let me just like Kia, you got some exciting news. Something's coming up, April 5th. Would you like to share what's going on in your life?
Sure. Shameless plug.
yeah.
So my friends and I have a podcast coming out.
Ooh.
And our first episode will be dropping on Monday, April the 5th. The podcast is called The Remedy Room. And we do not want anybody to feel like we have all the answers or all the remedies to anything, because we don't. But we hope that through our conversations and the laughter and the things that we share, that people will be able to find their own remedy.
Wow, that is
So
awesome.
stay tuned. You can follow us on Instagram at The Real Remedy Room. And that way you can stay up to date with what we have going on and make sure that you are there on Monday the 5th for our first episode. Thank you.
Wow, that is awesome. That's
The
awesome.
Remedy Room. Wow.
I can't wait. What I have a quick question for you,
Mhm.
Akia.
Sure.
What led to the creation? Are you using that name? And what do you all envision, or what do you want people to take away that tune in and join your podcast?
So, well, let me just give a little backstory. So
Uh-huh.
when COVID began, Arthur, myself, my best friend Shamika, and Arthur's really good friend Carlos, and you all, Sister Veronica,
Mhm.
would get on Zoom and just hang out. We would watch the versus battles on Instagram together, and we just had a really good time. And most of the time, once the versus battle ended, we would just have discussions and stay up till the wee hours of the morning, just talking about any and everything. So I had the thought that we should make this a podcast, because the conversations we were having, I'm sure other people shared the same thoughts and views and feelings, and we're funny. I mean, when you have a group of people who get along very well and have known each other for as long as we have known each other, it's just a good time. So we wanted to share that with other people. Now, the
Awesome.
name, The Remedy Room, I don't know where it came from. It just, maybe it was a divine revelation.
I would say it was divine. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been coming together. We've already been recording episodes. So we just want to make sure that most of our ducks are in the row before we release it. So April 5th.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, I can just say from the outside looking in, y'all's lead up, the promotion, the anticipation that y'all have created, the teasers that y'all have released have been so well done. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
I can't wait until the 5th to check out and hear y'all's awesome discussion and conversation. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please support. Please support.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be definitely worthwhile watching, and I'm hoping that everyone gets something out of it.
Mhm.
A different spin from what we're doing here with the Kicking with the Kellys, but you're about to get it from all angles,
Yeah,
all,
we'll
all
take it.
all angles. So
Mhm.
shout out to Miss Unapologetic and Mr. Perspective, and obviously the First Lady, who are making this show what it is. All right, Corinthian.
Outstanding.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. And Kia can weigh in at any time that she feels. But let's get your take on. We're talking about George Floyd today. George Floyd today. And
Rest
this is
in
not
peace,
April Fool's.
George.
This is not April Fool's either. This
Yeah,
real.
that's real. Yeah, no joke here. No joke here. Um, all right. Over time, I have developed the or have had tried to develop the discipline to watch everything, every bit of something before I make a judgment and determination. I think that's best because you want to get as much information as you can before you act. All right. I think that's a good rule of practice. I think that's good practice for young people growing up all the way up to adults. That being said, when I start watching the George Floyd trial, I was ready to make a determination after the prosecution's opening statement. I had heard from the video that had been released to the public, and from that opening statement, I was already ready. Uh, there wasn't much convincing that I needed to make a determination based on what I saw. All right, with my own eyes, watching the trial. So I think it's day 4 now. It's only gotten worse.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
only gotten worse. So when I say it's only gotten worse, I feel like there's an avalanche of evidence for a conviction of the officer, and I use that term loosely. Um, and I am expecting a lengthy sentence. I'm based off what I'm hearing. I'm not expecting a long deliberation. I mean, the jury might just need an hour based on what I've heard and the testimony that I've seen. The testimony has been incredibly compelling, and it makes a tragic situation even worse when you start seeing more angles of it and hear more testimony. Um, so those are my thoughts so far initially.
Okay, Kia, and we gonna talk about that.
Let me just start off by saying I have not watched the video. I
You just
can't.
you can't do it.
I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot watch someone being killed like that. My spirit just can't handle it. So in the trial, of course, they played back the video and things like that. So, those parts, I turn the volume down. I try to focus my attention on something else until they move past that. So I have not watched the video. However, I have watched him in the ambulance when they're trying to resuscitate him. That doesn't bother me. I've watched some of the lead up video to the point right before they pulled him out of the police car. And from what I've seen, yeah, it just, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get too excited. And it's sad that I have to even think or feel that way. But we know, based on history, when these types of situations have happened before, and we felt like it was a compelling case, and we just knew that the officer was going to be guilty, and they weren't. And so I'm hopeful that this will be different. And I was thinking earlier, it's not so much a race thing anymore. It's just about being humane, kind, compassionate, all of those things. Now, of course, I feel a little more strongly because it is a brother.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it will set a precedent and send a message that, hey, this is not acceptable, whether or not the person that has been arrested is Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever the case may be. And if you can't put your personal feelings to the side, if you can't put race to the side, perhaps public service is not the career field for you. So I'm gonna just say this one last thing too. Someone that I know from South Boston who was in the FBI was highlighted for Women's History Month, and they shared a quote. She was on Twitter. Of course, she's on different media releases and things like that. But her quote said, "To be sure that you are chasing after your passion and not chasing after power. And I think a lot of times, regardless of what, career you're in, sometimes it's all about the power. I have the power to make decisions. I have the power to hire, fire, whatever. And that can get in the way of your decision making and how you treat people, so on and so forth. So we just have to be mindful of why we're doing what we're doing. I'm sorry, she didn't say passion, she said purpose. Be sure you're chasing your purpose and not power. So I thought that was very powerful. And it's something that will stick with me.
Yeah, I hope. Does she have that trademark? Because I'm gonna probably use. I'm gonna probably use.
Just give her credit.
Yes,
give her her
yes.
credit. That is from
we'll do a
Miss
citation.
Yes, from Miss Carlisa Speed,
Okay.
Sneed, excuse me, with the FBI. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Craig.
That reminds me of the. Well, I know this is a quote that you'll see in comic books and superheroes and all that kind of stuff. With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
So when I think about that, and I think about the profession of police officers, now don't get me wrong, and I want to say this very clearly. I respect the men and women of law enforcement. I respect Leos. I respect Leos that are doing the right thing. I'll say that. And I don't want to equivocate there, because they do have a tough job. With that same token, those people have the power to make life and death decisions on site. So there's a higher level of scrutiny that I'm going to have for you that's trained, has a weapon, has police power and authority in certain situations to really control a situation. I have to hold you to a higher standard. You can't be on the same standard as an untrained novice, or you can't. I can't hold a teenager to the same level or standard or expectation I have for you. So, given that kind of context, what I saw, and I love what Kia said, bringing it around to a human issue, because it was a human thing. I look at that, and it wasn't a black or white issue. It was a right or wrong issue. Even if George Floyd had committed a crime, even allegedly created a crime, George Floyd should have been fined or been arrested, went to jail, and George Floyd should still be walking around today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's no justification for that, whatever alleged crime you said he was, where he's not still living after coming in contact with law enforcement. So when I look at it, it was a lot of wrong in that video that was done. And if we're in the nation of law and order, then justice has to be served when a wrong happens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. For everybody, what happened in May of 2020 changed, the dynamic of how we move today, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the pandemic played a big part in that, but the civil unrest that has happened as a result of what we witnessed in May is very alarming. And I just want to, just something personal to me, because of what happened with George Floyd, and people's eyes were glued on the TV, and they were able to see in real time something happen involving the police, where a lot of times you just hear about it. You hear, that the police did something wrong, or there was some foul play somewhere. but you can't pinpoint it. You really can't prove it. But you just know or have a gut feeling that something didn't go right. Well, we actually witnessed something in real time of something that did not go right. And as a result, there have been protests all over this country. Big corporations have spoken out about, injustice and everything. Hey, Mr. Harrison. Also, my organization where I work, they thought it important enough to make a statement about their views, and as a result, we have started a diversity, inclusion, and equity task force, which I'm the co-chair of. And I had a meeting today about what we're going to be doing from here on out about things of diversity and inclusion and equity, because it's important. And my organization, my CEO thought it important enough to include this into our mission. So I'm saying what this trial right now, it means a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. And I think,
go ahead, honey.
I was just going to say, we of course hate that it happened,
right,
but it almost couldn't have happened at a better time. It was during COVID. Nobody could go anywhere, do anything, focus their attention on too many, other things. And it was so much in our face that I think that is why so many people are now, they have bought in to this whole idea that, hey, maybe what these people have been saying, and I don't mean these people, I mean what we as a culture have been saying all these years is really happening. Like, so because our attention wasn't on, taking Tommy to play basketball or getting to this meeting or going to this event or whatever, we were all quarantined in the pandemic. It was so much in our face that I think now people have realized something is actually wrong. We do need to take a step back and figure out what we can change, what is within our power and ability to change so that we can try to make things better. I think, COVID was good for this situation.
Hey guys, I have actually struggled in my person. I think when this happened in 2020, I posted something, and I think it resonated to a lot of people because I got a lot of comments and even where I work. And sometimes, it's kind of hard to separate, your political views, your personal views about certain things. But I have come to the conclusion what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And as Corinthian was saying, and Kia, this is not a black and white issue. This right now, this is justice has to be served here. And because what we witnessed was just the humanity was taken out of it. And it makes me just think about all the stories that Kia was talking about of people that have said that things have happened to them in dealing with the police, but it wasn't recorded. Or we might only have a little bit of the video. We might have the aftermath of the video. We might not have what led up to the video. We might not have everything. But I'm so happy and I'm so glad and so glad that these police body cameras were able to show what really happened with this case.
Mm-hmm. And not just the police body cams, but the store cameras inside, the street cameras outside, the bystanders videos. Everybody caught what was needed at a different point during this whole event. So we get the full picture.
It makes me think of that movie Vantage Point, I believe. Wow, y'all need to watch it, Vantage Point.
I think about two things with body cameras. In my opinion, if I'm a good faith actor and a police officer that's doing the right thing, trying to do the right thing, I would love a body camera. And I say because it's going to vindicate me if someone ever says me as an officer is abusing people. If you go to the tape, it's gonna bear out what I've done. So I would say it's not only for police, but in any profession. For example, uh, when you are conducting yourself in a professional manner, the tape bears that out. You don't need to cut the tape off.
Right.
Whether you're a police officer, whether you're a teacher, whether you in any position, when you are uh, conducting yourself in a professional manner, and you have to interact with the public, that body camera would be my best friend. You know, to dispute if someone says this officer abused me. Well, let's go to the tape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's one thought. Um, but then when I think about this case, I'm even removing myself from the George Floyd situation. In this nation of law and order, we are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty when convicted of a crime or accused of a crime. You're supposed to have a day in court. You're supposed to have the opportunity to defend yourself and face your accuser, which is in our Constitution. Okay, if you are accused of something, you don't have to say anything. The prosecutors have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you committed this crime. So I think about all this in the context of the way our legal system is set up. Then I think about other cases where you would have thought for what happened to George Floyd was in that store and strong arm robbed and people got bodily injured and was killed.
You would have
For
thought George Floyd had done what Dylan Roof had done in the
that,
church in South Carolina.
that's the point I was trying to get to. So and I know it's hard to compare apples to oranges, but the point I'm trying to make is a person that has killed people in a church was treated in a more humane manner in the bounds of our legal system and given the opportunity to stand his day in court. And on the flip side, you have a person allegedly that used a $20 counterfeit bill that got killed in the middle of the street
Mm-hmm.
saying he can't breathe. So what the point I'm trying to make is I wouldn't want Dylan Roof under someone's knee. In this system that we have set up, if people get accused of something, they got to stand their day in court. Everybody does that. So
Right.
I'm not advocating for Dylan Roof being under people's knee as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, if that's the way the system is set up, why ain't it work that way?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only point that I have an issue with that.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead, Kid.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, like I said, I haven't watched the video. I can't bring myself to do it. But we saw from the beginning when he was in the car, he allowed officers to handcuff him. He didn't put up a fight. It only took one officer to handcuff him. They didn't seem at that moment like they were afraid of his size or height, or they weren't, feeling like he was erratic and out of control because he allegedly, at that point,
Right.
had been under the influence of some kind of drug. He walked to the police car without issue. All he wanted was just a moment to get himself together because he's claustrophobic, and they wouldn't even allow that. And because they are trying to paint the picture that he, was resisting and wouldn't get in the car, the defense attorney seems like he's trying to justify what they did because he was on drugs or because he didn't want to get in the back of the car when the officer, wanted him to, that is somehow some sort of justification for him being under the knee for 9 minutes and 20 something seconds, 29 seconds of Chauvin. And, it, to me, Chauvin was exercising his power, his position as being a police officer, that he wouldn't even consider, maybe this isn't right. Maybe I should, roll him over. Maybe I should sit him up or check his pulse. Or when they realize maybe his pulse is gone, that they should administer some sort of aid to him. And like one of the paramedics or EMTs said during the trial today, any layperson can do chest compressions. You don't have to have special training necessarily. I mean, you can attempt, you can try, or at least allow the bystander who had identified herself as being an EMT to come and try to assist or whatever. But it just, they're trying to paint the bystanders as angry and, oh, we were so concerned about our safety from the bystanders that we couldn't focus on George Floyd. That doesn't even make sense when there were more than one officer. Now, I could understand if it was just one or two officers at the time, but there were multiple officers, and they could have allowed somebody to administer some sort of help to George Floyd. It just, I don't understand it. And they're saying that they probably won't let Chauvin testify, but I would love to hear what he was thinking, what was running through his mind, just to give myself like maybe a different perspective. I don't know if my feelings would change, but at least I would have a better understanding of what he was actually thinking at the moment. I don't know.
Go ahead, Corinne.
I'm gonna use this scenario. Imagine if it was I'm gonna compare. Imagine if it was a large dog that someone was trying to force into a tight space in front of everybody's sight. You would have had more outrage. They would have said, "No, you can't put that. You can't put that Great Dane up in that little box." You would have had people call the police saying, "Nah, you can't. That's abuse." But yet and still, a human being. You mean to tell me if you looked at the video, the back of that police car was very tight in comparison to the 6'4" person that Akia pointed out already? He was already handcuffed. So if he really wanted to struggle and did not want to get them handcuffs off, looking at George Floyd's size, that officer could have had a very hard time putting the handcuffs on him. But he was cuffed within 30 seconds of the interaction from what I saw.
Yeah.
The cuffs was on. He was already cuffed.
Right.
He said, "I'm claustrophobic." Right. And looking at that space, it was tight. The humanity in me would say, do we have a larger size vehicle that we can call? Do we have a paddy wagon that got a little bit more space? Because he is pretty tall. That's the humane thing that would be done. That's what you would have done if it was you can't, if you was trying to put a horse, if you're trying to transport a horse, you can't transport a horse in a pickup truck.
Right.
You'll get arrested for trying to do it.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is, can I ride in the front where there's more space? The point I'm trying to make was, there were points in that video where I would have wanted another human being to see the humanity and say, well, the only thing that we would be missing out on we would just need a little bit more time.
Corinthian, I love how you just put that, and I'm even thinking that when the officers was telling the crowd, this is what happens when you're on drugs, or kids, this is what happens when you do drugs. If they suspected that George Floyd was under the influence, which he might have been, oh well. Do you think that doing what they did, he could have ended up hurting himself if he was so much under the influence, and that's why he wasn't cooperating? So you're telling me you were going to beat him into submission? Is that what you are trying to prove, that a drug addict needs to be beat into submission, as opposed to what Corinthian just said was, all right, we're going to have a little trouble. It's small. He already stated that he's claustrophobic. The thing is, he was polite through the whole thing. From the moment the officers arrived, he was polite, under the influence or not. He was polite. He even asked the officers, and this is why I think I really started tearing up. He said, my mom had just passed. He said, officer, I'm claustrophobic. He was like, if I get in the back, are you going to leave me? He even asked the officers, are they going to leave him? And the officers said, you brushed them off. The officers, specifically the one that was talking, was brushing him off the whole time that he was trying to speak with them. He tried to speak with him from the curb to the police car. And I just really felt bad, because honestly, there has to be some training that has to be done when you deal with situations like that. Now, I understand that you might have a bad apple that really might try you and do something, but he was not trying to. He did not kick. He did not do anything. All he was trying to say is, also, I will talk to you if you can just talk to me on the ground. Just leave. Like, y'all can surround me. Y'all can do whatever, but please don't put me in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm. So I have 2 points I'd like to make. So as we're talking, I'm thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh,
right?
Oh, there we go, Kia.
I don't know all the parts of it, but I do know one of the foundational parts closest to the bottom is safety. And if you feel unsafe, it's no telling how you will react or respond to something. You are going to try to stay safe. It's kind of like that fight or flight. Now, he wasn't fighting. And even when the older gentleman that testified was saying, you can't win, he said, I'm not trying to win. He just wanted to be safe. And honestly, for somebody that's claustrophobic, if you're laying stomach down, prone position on the ground, and somebody has their knee in a position that won't allow you to move your head side to side, to me, and I'm not claustrophobic, but to me, it's the same concept. So there is going to be some sort of struggle, because you're trying to adjust yourself so you don't feel that, closed in feeling. The kid, hold on, y'all.
No worries,
Yes,
Mom.
guys.
No worries, Mom. What I would say, Arthur, from the moment the police entered the situation, instead of de-escalating situation, they took the situation to another level. So if you watch the video of the officer that approached George Floyd, he walked up to the window with his service weapon pointed already.
Corinthian, so, and George Floyd had his hands up on the steering wheel.
He said, Please don't shoot me. I've been shot before.
Yeah.
I could tell Arthur, if someone walks up to you pointing a gun at you, you've already heightened the situation. Okay.
Right.
So that's point one. You would have thought the people had a call that George Floyd is armed, dangerous, and tore up the store the way that they approached the car. So I had an issue with that off the bat. Okay. The other point which I think the defense is going to try to go, that George Floyd was unruly or unmanageable, was threatening. To me, if someone is unruly, unmanageable, and threatening, how do you handcuff that person in 30 seconds? He had cuffs on. So the point I'm trying to make is, how much of a threat can a handcuffed person with cuffs behind his back be to trained professional grown men?
And with weapons, grown men with weapons.
And it's two of them at this time. Then it increases to 4. Okay. So they talk about police terms, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a police officer and I have not gone through police officer training or anything like that, but they talk about rules of engagement and escalation of force. I know that one of their terminologies are, you're supposed to use appropriate force to subdue a threat. Once that threat is subdued, you no longer are authorized to engage in the same level of force that you're using it just to overcome the threat. So when you have a handcuffed person laying on the ground and you're trying to tell me that person is still a threat, you want me to believe what you're saying or believe my eyes? And I could have seen if George Floyd is kicking or biting at the officers or spitting at the officers. I watched 4 different vantage points of it and didn't see any of it.
Did he, I'm sorry, did he curse them out at any point or call them out of their name?
Not from what I saw. I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's any excuse, but I'm just painting the picture more. Like,
it was probably the most polite altercation I have ever witnessed in my life.
and then
it reminded me of the Green Mile.
Yeah,
it reminded me of the Green Mile right there, and I'm
gentle giant,
a gentle giant, and I think that's what some people have called it. But let's take this a step further, because we're going to talk about divine intervention.
Hold on, Arthur. I want to say one point, because we talked about drug use, alleged drug use. We've heard for the last this past administration, the First Step Act and the treatment now for people that are using opioids or controlled substances. There's a whole different. They're talking about rehabilitative services for those persons. That's what the whole the last administrative platform was on. Okay, so you have a person that you said might be under a controlled substance. So why are you not offering him those Why are we not saying? Why are we not saying this person might be under influence, and you just spent the whole last 4 years saying these people need treatment, not jail.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So you have a case in point right here. So either way, whether you tell me this person, you're using the angle this person was under the influence or anything like that, there's been legislation passed and money put behind rehabilitation services for opioid users.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is they should have been taking them to a treatment facility.
Mm-hmm. But see, and that was going to be my other point, was police officers should do more community policing. If they had more of a relationship and rapport with the people of this community, in my opinion, the outcome would have been much different. Because if George Floyd frequented this store and that area of Minnesota is as bad as they're painting it out to be, because they said that was a bad corner or hot corner or whatever, the police officers should be knowing people first name basis. How are y'all doing? What do you need? How can I serve you? Because aren't they protect and serve, right? So how can I serve you? What is it, that I can, what resources can I link you with to maybe reduce the chances of you going to prison or jail or being arrested? But that wasn't the case. And I guess Chauvin had been in the neighborhood before, because he had the interaction with the older gentleman that said, what did he say? You get to go home at night, make sure you allow other people to go home or something. He had kind of given that warning or whatever. So we know that the cops are maybe in that area and just riding around. To me, it seems like that's just second nature. Like, talk to the people, get to know them, and kind of eliminate the stigma of, police are bad and they're out to get us because we're Black. But if you just simply just be friendly, be humane, show that you care and have concern for people, to me, that would have kind of maybe made this whole situation turn out differently.
What Akia, you spot on. And what was one of the saddest things to me, in addition to the tragic death of George Floyd, who should still be living today, when you say the hot community that you say or it's labeled as hot and things like that, I saw a humane community with concerned citizens speaking up and speaking out when they saw some injustice happening. And I saw them they were in a catch-22 situation. And my heart was breaking for Brother Donald Williams, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Because...
Is that the MMA guy?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to talk about, divine intervention. We got to touch on all of these important factors.
He saw what was going on was wrong.
Yeah.
He saw that. And I know under different circumstances, he wanted to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Many people out there wanted to intervene, but it's a catch-22, especially with those people that were present. He could have been the next dead victim laying in the street if he had if he had done what I know in his heart he wanted to do. I could hear it. They were pleading for that man's life, and then I'm like, you almost get to a point where you ask that question, man. Somebody just got to just push them off them and stuff like that. But it's I can tell that they are thinking about that. You heard no 17-year-old should be testifying that I feel guilty. I should have done more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're not people have to understand. Police officers are paid using our tact to serve us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So you're talking about people that you employ abusing their power when they should be serving the community. There should be, like Akia was saying earlier, those relationships built. That should have been a conversation and saying, George, man, sit on this wall and we're going to call this bigger thing and you got to come in for treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you said opioids was that big of a deal, you see what I'm saying? That's not the... You've been pushing that narrative for the whole year. So why wasn't it done?
Well, we know why it wasn't done.
I wanted to be hopeful and
optimistic. You want to be optimistic.
Right,
Corinthian and Kia, I'm just really happy. I'm happy that the person in the call center, the operator, was able to witness what was going on the TV. I'm so thankful that she called the sergeant. That's on record. I'm so thankful for the black guy, the older black gentleman who was out there, who saw George Floyd, was very reluctant to try to get into that the back of the cab, obviously because he was stating he was claustrophobic. But after he witnessed what the officers were doing, once they had him subdued, he then said, "You don't have to be on his neck like this." Like, all right, I understand why y'all were trying to get him in the car because of obviously, he was saying claustrophobic. But after he saw everything shift and that George Floyd really didn't do anything to deserve what they were doing to him, you could then hear him pleading to say, "You don't have to be on this man's neck." Now that's just wrong, officer. I'm so glad. Did we just get disconnected?
I think we back on. We froze for a little second, but I think we back on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. No, he didn't have to be. Just like the man said, he didn't have to be on that man's neck.
I'm so happy that there was the MMA guy, Donald, who was there, that understood martial arts and understood. You know what, Shamika? Don't talk about our internet.
Look, we got that Nelly. We got that
And
Nelly service.
We got that Nelly versus Ludacris.
We got the Teddy Riley internet.
Oh Lord!
Oh no.
Yeah, but you know something. The funny thing is, we just called Cox today about I think he had just tried to get our internet reset today.
Yeah. And don't worry, it happened to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us.
That's Don't worry. But no, Arthur, you're Arthur, like you said earlier, you're making the point. It was divine that you have a person that could recognize in real time. Right. No, that's a dangerous way that you're on him, and he said it. On tape.
Yeah.
It's divine that you have a trained EMT happen to walk past and say, "Check his pulse."
Yeah.
Which does not sound unreasonable, because see, to me, it would be unreasonable if George Floyd up fighting people. It's very hard to check somebody's pulse if they fighting with you.
Right.
You have a person that's laying on the ground. At this point, he hasn't even said anything for the past 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then what makes it even worse, Arthur, one of the officers' video, he asked the other two officers, should we turn him on his side?
See, I have a problem with that, because it shouldn't have been a question. It should have been, let's turn him on his side, or he should have done it. I don't even understand why it was a question. And if he was so concerned, even when they didn't respond with a yes, let's check him out.
Yeah.
He should have done more.
That's why I'm saying that all four and Corinthian, and you know something that really made me Officer Child. After watching his body cam, it just put everything in a new light for me. I'm serious. The one that was holding the crowd back, and he wasn't holding back because they weren't rowdy. First of all,
that defense that they used, they couldn't concentrate because of the crowd. Arthur, have you ever been around rowdy people?
Yeah.
There's a defensive posture that you're gonna take.
Yeah.
If the crowd is really rowdy.
Yeah. But we saw that in the insurrection. uh, we have seen a rowdy crowd.
We have Arthur. I didn't see Arthur. The crowd was polite to me.
Oh,
What I'm saying is, if one of the defense attorneys was trying to say Donald's language was angrier and angrier, Donald's language didn't choke somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
His words didn't choke somebody. It was a knee to the neck that choked somebody out.
Yeah.
So even that failed connection he was trying to make, I didn't buy. And you're trying to tell me that now paid trained professionals that are allowed to carry a weapon, you're telling me that someone yelling at them is distractive enough where they can't concentrate and can't realize that they had their knee on somebody for over 8 minutes?
Yeah.
So my question is, if the crowd was so rowdy, why not call for additional backup?
No. Or when George Floyd stopped communicating, what was so rowdy then? Y'all stayed on his neck while he laid motionless.
He did not get up off that man until the EMT or paramedic had to basically move him out of the way.
Oh man, yeah.
So now, all right. Now this is where I'm at with it now. So I'm watching the case, and there seems like an avalanche of evidence. To convict. All right. I would not be satisfied with just a conviction. I want to know what the punishment will be.
Sentencing.
I want see what I'm saying. A conviction is one thing. All right. So say he got convicted of wrongdoing. But if you convict him of wrongdoing and say he gets charged for a year, that I have an issue with that. I need him punished to the full extent of the law. Not only Officer Chauvin, but everyone that was involved on that day. At the very least, the officers were accomplices to murder.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a dereliction of duty. They have reneged on their oath of office to serve and protect, because that should have extended to George Floyd as well.
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't like when people use, because he was an alleged criminal, that's justification, because we've seen alleged criminals get taken to Burger King.
Exactly.
We've seen alleged criminals get treated humanely after doing horrible acts.
Mm-hmm.
So the point I'm trying to make is, I'm not saying if you a criminal, they should KO you. I'm not saying that.
Right.
What I'm saying is, you got to keep that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that same energy was not kept. And shout out OJ, I appreciate your comment. He made the parallel. So we talked about opioids and things like that, and the language now about rehabilitation. That wasn't the same language in the 80s when they talking about crack.
War on drugs.
It was 3 strikes. It was lock you up. It was, you see what I'm saying? That humane compassion. These are addicts that need to be treated. That wasn't the case when it was people that was more melanated. So the point I'm trying to make is, you putting in plain sight, you have an injustice. And I love your comment earlier about, now you couldn't look away now because of COVID. It put it right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm kind of looking at, well, I want to know who are those in the officer's corner, and not to bash them or anything like that, but I would love to hear, how is what happened to George Floyd justifiable in any way?
Well, so I was reading earlier today an article that So my question, what I wanted to know was whether or not Chauvin was still in jail or if he was out. So he's out on bond, $1 million, or his bond was $1 million. Obviously, he didn't have to put it all up. So the question was, well, where did the money come from? Who helped him get out? They haven't released that. The other thing is, while we only see one defense attorney and then the assistant, it's at least a dozen lawyers on his side, and they're paying those lawyers from the police union fund or whatever. So he has a lot of people backing him up, even though he's been fired. And, you know, they made that settlement to George Floyd's family, which kind of is already admitting like, hey, this wasn't right. He has a lot of people backing him up behind the scenes.
Akil,
Yep.
you said that the police fund is funding his defense, even though he's fired and no longer a. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
All right. So what happens if he's found? You know. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this, because Corinthian, you kind of started that right now in your eyes you kind of see like an open shut case. It's really nothing else the defense can really try to say. Yes, you can probably tarnish his character even more, but you can't really justify the fact that that those police officers held that man down and then he died. There is nothing else you can say, but it was done in a inhumane way. I mean, this war crime. I mean, what I just witnessed during this body cam footage after seeing this, there was no humanity. Like, it was almost, you know, like Corinthian, when me and you used to fight and stuff, we probably used to do some things at some point when we got real upset that we actually, it won't play no more. We was really trying to hurt each other a little bit, you know, to make us feel it. So that's what I saw with that police officer. He really honestly, he really wanted him to pass out.
He did. He's done this before. He has done this same thing before, y'all. And he's had 18 complaints against him for excessive force.
Oh, man.
He's not new to this, but it's been overlooked. It's been overlooked so many times.
So this is where I'm at with this. And I guess I got to go on record as saying this. If Officer DC is not found guilty, they might as well turn Minnesota. The DC, Washington DC better become the next state, because I'm telling you, I'm being serious. Minnesota needs to be stripped from their statehood if this man is not found guilty, because he represented the police department in the city, and so like something is gonna have to change with this. Washington DC will need to become the next state in the United States, because I'm not accepting nothing less, because what was witnessed was murder. So it just makes me think, how are all these other people convicted of murder with less evidence? And we didn't watch the reality show.
Yeah. So I would say a couple things, Arthur. If I'm not mistaken, officers have qualified immunity, meaning that they get a certain level of a certain privilege or I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but they get more allowances because of the nature of their work, what they do, the split-second decisions they have to make, and things like that.
Okay.
But there has to be qualified immunity. Don't just mean you can do whatever you want without no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be that way. You have to be able to hold bad actors accountable. And if you don't, you have a rigged, unjust system. Period. Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what I would love to see if I had control, I would say any settlements have to come out that plot that police pension fund that they had to fund that his defense. The police that all the police officers put money into that pot for the retirement and pension. Any settlements of wrongdoing got to come out of that pot. And I say that because it's going to now prompt good police to say, man, we got to clean house. We can't have bad apples because
Mm-hmm.
you jeopardizing my retirement now by your bad action. And this only gets cleaned up from inside,
Yeah.
in my opinion. The only
Yeah.
way stuff like this is going to stop, the only way to stop a bad police is good police saying, nah, man, you can't, you got to do something else.
Absolutely. I was thinking about the training that we go through on my job that is focusing on ethics. And the motto is see something, say something. And there's an anonymous line you can call if you see, things that are questionable. And there's a team designated to investigate all of these things. So I think that is something that the police need. They need a unbiased department that can look into these what do you call them, complaints and things like that, because if I'm always trying to cover you, then if a complaint comes and I'm the person that reviews it, of course I'm gonna brush it off. Amen. Be careful next time. Turn your camera off next time. Cover it up. Or, those are the types of things that's probably going on behind the scenes. So they have to come up with a better way to protect the good officers, but also get the bad ones out. So something needs to be in place.
Hey guys, let me just get a quick public service announcement. We love the police. When they do the right things and they protect and serve our communities, I'm thankful because when we're in trouble and need, and we have a number that we can call and they can provide service for us, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely.
But the bad apples that Corinthian was talking about, those have to be plucked out. And I'm being serious. They cannot operate in that line of duty because it just brings so much distrust from people that might need service or are in real danger, but they don't feel that they can depend on the people that have sworn to protect and serve them. So I commend everyone that has taken that oath because, not many people can do the job that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it gets hard, and I know that there are things on this job that people wouldn't even understand. But I'm thankful for body cameras. I'm thankful for video. I'm thankful for citizens that do take the time out to record something if they see it's not going right, because it gives us a better understanding of everything that officers go through. So when we see an officer in a gunfight, we like, man, this person really shot at this officer. Like we can understand that. But let me tell you, this body camera stuff that we just saw, the stuff that we just saw on this body camera, it goes against everything that you stand for in the police department. And if police officers are not saying anything about this, then this trust is going to continue and continue. And I want to say that please do the right thing. The state, the city, please do the right thing in this, because what we witnessed was not right.
I mean, at this point, it's up to the jury of his peers. So I mean, hopefully there are people on that jury that know right is right and wrong is wrong. So really, that's what we should be sending a message to. Do the right thing, y'all.
I agree. I agree. We have to do the right thing, but the whole system needs to be reformed from the police to the judicial system. So, for example, there's things that there were certain people that were X'd off the jury um, for certain reasons. There was a person in the, I think they call it the voir dire process of selecting jurors that said,
Mm-hmm.
I I have MMA background and experience. Now, from the outside looking in, I would say that would be great to try to get down to the bottom of what happened or having some familiarity with that or know something. He not on the jury, you know. So
True.
just thinking about how the system, um, I think about how the judge can say, um, you know, I'll tell you when I heard the judge say in one exchange, I'll tell you when your answer is over. Right. And
Oh,
and
I
and,
just I
and,
just saw that today, Corinthian, man.
and
Um,
so if you're saying you want people to tell the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth, if I'm giving you an answer and I'm the witness, I should be able to tell
right.
you as much as I can remember or much as I can recall. And if you say the judge
Mm-hmm.
now has the authority to say, well, no, your answer is done here, I have an issue with that. If the goal is to try to get to the truth, let the jury determine. You know. Uh, so
Mm-hmm.
I have some issues with the whole setup. Now I know there might be valid reasons why the judge does that, maybe to avoid a mistrial or things like that, or sticking to the facts. But when you're asking witnesses there, the judge won't dare on the scene. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
witnesses were
right.
there, you know.
Yeah.
So who do I want to listen
Yeah.
to? The judge that won't dare or the witnesses? So
No, Corinthian, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Kia.
So,
Is Kia
that's
is
yeah, I think that's Kia. Yeah.
it never so I mean, she gonna stick to the remedy room.
No, Arthur, that's what you had the podcast platform for. You see what I'm saying? And this is fine. You know, we tried it out. This
we
is
try
not.
we try. She's still stuck on you.
It's
Wow,
look. I
she's
would
here
take a
with me.
screenshot. I would take a
I can't I
screenshot of
cannot
that one. That's a
I
kid,
cannot.
two places.
let me just say something.
Oh my goodness.
If y'all know anything about me, my phone always dies, and it died. But thank you, Corinthian and Arthur, for having me on your show. Even with all the interruptions and technical difficulties, I had a wonderful time, and I wish you all the success. Mwah.
Thank you so much for kicking it with us.
Now we gotta kick her out.
That look, you said that would be her first and last show.
First and last. Correct. Is there anybody in your chat? We're gonna have to exit. This one probably won't air.
Look, we gotta do some major edits.
Yeah, major technical difficulties. But Corinthian, the funny thing is, these things have never happened before.
Never.
Until we brought an anomaly.
Look, we've had 18 shows.
I am just adding something that you all have never had. That's
You
it.
know what? You're right.
You'll never be the same.
You're right.
You're right about that.
You're right.
Hey guys, I appreciate y'all kicking. We were talking about George Floyd and the trial. We want to know your thoughts. You can put in the comments section your thoughts on the trial. Obviously, our show You can rewatch it anytime. Post in the comments. We do read your comments, so definitely post in the comment section, and we will try to address it on another show. Corinthian, this one was a tough one for me, man. And as Akia said before, before she lost, got kicked out, lost her lifeline. She was saying it's really up to the jury.
Yeah.
And obviously the jury, I know that they're not supposed to be watching nothing, and they can't be watching stuff about the trial. They can only look at the evidence as it is presented to them, and then they deliberate.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that the right thing is done. I think this is not us being biased, and that's what sometimes, I fight with myself to say, am I really being biased here? Like, am I really playing favorites? Am I really seeing color and not what happened? But I can honestly say in this instance, what happened was wrong.
Yeah. And Arthur, what I'll say is I do believe that we all bring our own personal experiences, lived experiences, our personal biases into any situation. I'll say that I bring my experience, my upbringing, my perspective into any situation. All right. And two people can look at the same thing and say they see something different. Right. I just know where I stand in this case.
Yeah.
From the evidence that has been presented thus far, there is no justification for the level of force that was used.
Correct.
And what ultimately happened to George Floyd as a result of anything that he did.
Right.
Over a fake 20, I'll even concede the defense point that he may have passed the fake $20 bill. I'll have it. Is that a death penalty? Is that a death sentence?
Oh, yeah. No, it's not, Corinthian. And the cashier has stated that he wished he would not have called the police.
Now, Arthur, for the cashier was a young brother.
Yeah.
He sounded like one of the most mature people there. Yeah. I'm talking about it's grown adults, trained adults. And he said if he had known, I think he's the one that said if he had known all that would have happened, he would have just paid the.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Corinthian, Mook, what's up, Mook? Thanks for watching. Latanya, are you talking with your children about this case? Yes, we have talked to them a little bit, but I do want to go more in detail with them so they can understand. We did let them watch a little bit of the trial with us, but it's been a touchy situation, but we did allow them to protest last year. They protested in the Children's March last year in 2020. And then as this case is going on, I think we're going to be sharing more and more about right and wrong, injustice, justice, what a judge means, what a court is, what the witnesses are, what a jury is. And then we're going to talk about just things, to make you productive citizens to where hopefully things like this won't happen. But if they do, how to interact with police and everything like that. But it's a sad thing when you got to start telling, have these conversations with your children on how to interact with the police and, how to, if you do get pulled over, what things you need to steer away from and things you can't say. And these conversations are a lot different sometimes in the Black community than in the white community. So it's a very touchy thing.
What I would say, my last point is we need to get back to treat people the same way you want to be treated.
There we go.
That would sum up this whole interaction with George Floyd from the cop perspective, George Floyd perspective, anyone standing out their perspective. Treat people the same way you want to be treated.
Right.
If I tell you some 13 times I can't breathe, I would want you to get up off my neck.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Corinthian. I agree. This spans to nursing home care, hospital care, teachers, principals, lawyers, judges, police, fire. I mean, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So it goes beyond just this. I mean, it's in totality. Everything that we do in life, treat others the way you want to be. You know what? I cannot. I cannot. I cannot.
Nah, let's go ahead and close. Look, we're close. Yeah,
we're about to have a benediction, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and close. The doors of the church.
But Tanya said the officers played judge and jury and decided he was guilty when they arrived. Point blank, simple, and you could hear it in what they were saying. I'm glad all that's recorded too.
Yeah.
Because if officers come up talking like the way they did and say the things that they said in that process of arresting and putting somebody in the car, they need a lot of training.
Yeah.
A lot of training.
No, they don't need to be on the force.
Oh, I'll take that.
You don't need to be on the force. If your response is, this is why you don't do drugs.
Yeah.
You doing drugs does not mean you should be treated less than humanely.
Right. I agree, man. Hey, everybody. Y'all thanks for kicking it with us tonight. George Floyd, if you haven't been watching the trial, I suggest that you do take a peek. It's one of those things of you can act like it's not going on, or you can say, man, I really, can't stomach. If you can't stomach it, I understand. But if you are just trying to brush it under the rug and say it's not happening, no, this in your face. Everybody saw what happened, and it's either you got to take a stance on something, and
absolutely,
and you can't really straddle the fence on this one.
Yeah.
And I'm really being serious about this. There are a lot of things that you can play about. You can play a lot of games. You can play basketball and football and all this stuff and talk and charades and everything. But when it comes to things like this, especially in the manner that it happened, you really gotta take a step back and say, hey, I just witnessed something that won't right. I need to really have a conversation with my kids about this. Like LaTanya was saying, I really need to pretty much say where I stand on this. It really can't be really wishy-washy on how you treat justice.
Great point, man.
I mean, you really can't be really wishy-washy on that. So I would hope that everyone, talking your inner self and really come to a conclusion of where you stand on this whole matter. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. I think that's what the scriptures say. So I think we are going to hear that pretty soon.
Yeah. No, great point, man.
Got anything else, bro?
Nah, man. I thought this was good. A great discussion.
Oh yeah, good point, LaTanya. No, we have to stomach it, both black and white folks. Asian folks, Latino folks. This go for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, this honestly is not a black and white thing. Like I said, if justice is blind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you gotta really see the humanity in this case and see that something was done wrong that needs to be addressed and corrected and reprimanded. So something got to happen.
Yes, sir.
bro, we just gonna keep swinging, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, she talking. See, Corinthian. See, I can't.
She whispering. She whispering in the corner.
She whispering to me.
This why. This your first and last episode. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, Mr. Bugs, how you doing? Stand for something or fall for anything?
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said.
Well said. What you gotta say, kid? Talk to the folks. Hey guys, y'all were in for a treat today. Kia wants me to tell you to check out our podcast on iTunes. Shamika said, "Just stop."
Just comment. Just comment.
Just comment. Just stick to commenting. We're good. Hey, Corinthian, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. We'll be back next week. Thanks for kicking it with us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, honey, for joining us today. I don't know how much people got out of it, but no, we had a good dialogue. So appreciate you. All right, thanks everybody. See you next week.
All right.
Peace.